What's Fantasy Premier League and how do you play it? Which 15 players are in my fantasy team at the start of the Premier League season? What does kneejerk mean? And what do you think of the idea of an online football pub that can help you improve your speaking? Hello, everybody. What's going on? My name is Denek, and you've just tuned in to the Footglish podcast, your English learning podcast about football. I wanted to say the only English learning podcast about football that exists, but that would not probably be true. I think there are others out there, but this one is definitely by far the best English learning podcast about football since sliced bread. I guarantee you that. Today, what's going to happen today? Today, I would like to talk about FPL, about fantasy football. If this is something that tickles your fancy, then you will probably enjoy this episode. If not, don't quit yet. Don't stop listening just yet, because I'm going to talk about an idea of mine, something that could help you develop your own speaking skills, help you get more fluent and confident when speaking English. And you would do all of this by talking about football. Can you imagine? Can you imagine something like that? Yes, I've got an idea for an online pub, and I would like to talk to you about it, ask you what you think, and see if you guys would like to get involved or not, basically, right? But first things first, I've promised that we would talk about fantasy football here. So that's what's going to happen here. And I will also try to teach you some fantasy football slang, because yes, that's right. That's something that's quite interesting too. And don't forget, there's not much time left. The first Premier League game is starting this Friday, so don't miss it. Don't miss registration. If you have not played fantasy football and would like to try, you literally have a few hours left to create your team. So I don't want to push you, but you better hurry. Okay, so let's see. This could basically help you too, because I'm gonna explain what FPL is again. I'm going to show you my team too, and hopefully teach you some words or some vocabulary as well in the process. And then at the end, I'll tell you about this idea of the online football pub. So it's up to you whether you like to skip ahead, or stay with me. That is up to you. I'll leave it up to you. You always have the options, because the world is your oyster. Okay, what is FPL? Let's keep it short and sweet. FPL stands for Fantasy Premier League, and it's a game where you become the manager of your very own virtual football team. You get a budget and you use it to sign real Premier League players, such as forwards, midfielders, and defenders, or goalkeepers. Then every week, your players earn fantasy points depending on what they do in real matches, scoring goals, getting assists, keeping clean sheets, and sometimes even picking up bonus points. There are so many ways the players can get points. You also choose a captain each week who gets double points. The best part? You're not just playing against a computer. You compete against your friends, colleagues, and millions of other FPL managers around the world, including myself. I'm also an FPL manager, and we even have our own mini league, which you guys can join. It's called the Footglish Podcast Mini League, and I will provide the code for you too in this episode, so definitely stick around. So guys, if you love football, especially the Premier League, and you're also learning English and want to find a fun excuse to follow the Premier League, FPL is a great way to do both. Do you need to be a Premier League expert to play? No. But obviously it helps if you watch a game here and there, or at least check the results regularly. Because you also need to know if players are injured and stuff like that, right? And if you could also follow some YouTubers or listen to podcasts which are dedicated to Fantasy Premier League, then you would definitely have an edge, you would have an advantage, and you would really benefit from this as well. This FPL is a huge thing. It's so popular. It's played by millions of people around the world. And I'll tell you what, this is a brilliant community and it's a lot of fun. It can be frustrating too when you're losing, but that's part of the game. You win or lose. Most of the time you lose, I'm afraid. But anyway, you can still have fun because you could lose but still be better than your best friend. Okay, so how can FPL improve your English, right? So I have also come up with this. FPL can be a surprisingly fun way to improve your English because it gives you a reason to use English regularly. You can watch videos from fantasy football creators, listen to FPL podcasts, learn the vocabulary that real fans use when they talk about the game. You can also compare your team and your results with friends, discuss your transfers, and argue about which players you should buy or sell. If you use English to write comments, post about your team, or talk about FPL with other people, you'll naturally improve your football vocabulary, reading, listening, writing, and speaking skills, all in one package, all while trying to beat your mates in the league. Sounds like fun? Well, that's what FPL is, in my opinion. And now I am going to show you my team. Or at least that's the idea here. So, guys, brace yourself because here is my team. All right, guys, as you can see, the name of my team is FC Footglish Podcast. I'm from the Czech Republic. This is my name. This is the logo or the badge. It's the team badge. Yes, as you can see, it's very clear that I'm someone who has a podcast. Also, as you can see, the game has been joined by over 6 million people. So that's quite a lot, but I think more are about to join because a lot of people are leaving it to the last moment. Hopefully some of you too. I am in the fan league as well of Arsenal because I'm an Arsenal fan. And also I've joined a couple of other mini leagues, including the Footglish Podcast mini league, which is here. And as you can see, a lot of people have joined. It's over 20, and you guys can still be here. You can still compete against me and the listeners of the Footglish Podcast if you want. But here is my team. That's what you all came here for, I think. So, as you can see, Kinski in goal. Antonin Kinski is there because he's Czech, and I also think he's cheap. And he's number one of Tottenham, and their fixtures are okay-ish. I think Brentford away, Newcastle at home, Nottingham Forest away. I think it's all right. It's not the best, but it could be worse. Also, as you can see, he's quite a popular pick, Antonin Kinski. 21.6% of ownership. That's quite a lot. My number 2 goalkeeper is Verbruggen. And it's important that he's also number 1 because I have activated my bench boost, which is one of the chips you can play in this game. You've got 4 chips in total, and you can use each of them twice. But you've got 4 of them for half of the season, and then they will refresh after or at the beginning of the second half of the season, basically. So those were my goalkeepers. Yeah. Then here is my defense. So I've got Ayer, who I believe is he is not owned that much, so he's a bit of a differential, which is very important in this game. And also, I think he's a very good player at DEFCONs. Yeah, he's a DEFCON beast. So that's something we need here in this game. Either you have defenders who have the potential to keep the clean sheet, which means they have to play for teams that get clean sheets regularly. I don't think Brentford are one of those teams. Or you can be a player who is good at DEFCONs, and I think Ayer is one of them, as far as I know. Nico Williams, okay, one of the best defenders in the league. Quite expensive, 5 million. One of the more expensive defenders. but I think especially the first game against Leeds it's nice. And I want to. This is my long-term pick. Yeah, I'm investing in this player. I know Liverpool away, Tottenham at home, not good fixtures, but Nico Williams has to be in my team. He is my only my only Nottingham Forest player, by the way. Then I have doubled up on Manchester United. I might have picked even 3 players, but I've chosen 2. One of them is Luke Shaw, the defender. Look at their first 3 fixtures: Hull, Ipswich, Everton. Oh my God, that looks amazing. So Luke Shaw has a lot of offensive potential as well, I believe. So I am picking him in my starting 11. Then, of course, you need to have someone from the Arsenal defense. I'm actually surprised I only have 1 player from their defense. I'll probably buy more in the future, but Gabriel, for example, is the most expensive defender in the game. He costs 8 million. It's just way too much. Califiori is good, but also look at their fixtures. It starts well. Their first game, their first game of the season is against Coventry, as I said on Friday. But then the 2 other games, the 2 other fixtures are not that good. So I am banking on Arsenal, but I've actually chosen 2 midfielders here as well. Solis, he looks amazing. When he played in that Community Shield, he was perhaps the best player of the game. This Greek signing of Arsenal, I really trust him a lot. He's quite cheap. I think he will be a differential, and I expect a lot of assists from him, and hopefully he starts. Of course, there is always a chance that Miguel Arteta doesn't play him, but hopefully that's not the case. Martin Odegaard, the Arsenal captain, also looks much better than he did last season, and he's very cheap. I think it's a good pick too. I could have picked more expensive midfielders, but I chose relatively cheap ones, and that's because I needed to have money for Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is my big hitter, you could say. At the moment, he's an essential player. He's essential because basically you can see 50%, almost 50% of all managers have him in their fantasy team. He is the most expensive midfielder in the game, and he is predicted to score a lot of points. The reason for this is that you need someone in your team who you can captain regularly. And I have 2 players like that. I have 2 big hitters that will rotate for that. I think he should be my vice captain. I will make him my vice captain. Whenever you make changes to your team, whether it's the captaincy or you shuffling the players around, make sure you save it. Yeah, you make sure you hit this save your team. Otherwise, the game won't remember the changes you've made. So Bruno Fernandes, yeah. So as I said, they have really good starting fixtures. Yeah, I need to have some premium players like Bruno Fernandes and Haaland in my team. It's obvious. It's what this game is about, They are expensive. Like Haaland is the most expensive player in the game. 15.5 million. Oh my goodness. But it's Haaland. He scores a lot of goals, and he will also be my captain for the first game week. A home game against Bournemouth should be a walk in the park for Manchester City, even if they don't look as strong as they did under Guardiola. They've also lost Rodri. So Haaland is in my team. I forgot to mention Szoboszlai, right? So this Hungarian player who plays for Liverpool is a decent pick as well. I was torn between him and also Wirtz, the German international. Wirtz is 0.5 million more expensive, and that's why I chose Szoboszlai, because it just fits better in my team and I can save more money too. Right. Then up front, I have Haaland, as I said, and also João Pedro, who seems to be a template pick. He is a template pick. Almost everyone has João Pedro in their team. 61.3% of players. Haaland has been picked by almost 70% of all players. It's a template pick, but he's so cheap and such a good player as well. I have no doubts that he will be the number one striker for Chelsea. And I think under Xabi Alonso, Chelsea will be much, much, much improved. So I think it's a good idea to have him in my team. And then I have a strong bench, and this is because I'm playing my bench boost chip. So in the first round, I will have points from my bench as well. Yeah, this normally doesn't happen, but when you play the bench boost chip, it does. So that's why all of these players, I expect them to start. Verbruggen, my substitute goalkeeper. And Dyer, I believe, is on penalties at Everton. And also he could get some defensive contributions and stuff like that. So I think he's a good choice, the Senegalese player. De Kuyper, the Belgian, he is, I think, a bit of a differential. Not many people have him in their team. But the reason I have him is that I heard that he played, in his last game, he played as a midfielder. He played as a winger, even though he is officially in the game as a defender. And that's a big advantage because he could get you points from midfield. And also, what if his team, Brighton, gets a clean sheet? Then you could have a lot of points from De Kuyper. And he should be a starting player too. So I think he's a hidden gem, hopefully. And this player will help me get some big hauls, because that's what the FPL is about. You know, you want some hauls, you want to beat your friends, beat your opponents, have fun with that. And finally, my other striker is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He is obviously forward from Leeds United. So I think, again, a very popular pick. I think my strikers, it's kind of template. There's not much to choose from. So I think it will do. I think it's a good team. If you're asking me about a strategy, do I have a strategy? Because all these FPL experts, the YouTubers, they always talk about the strategy. I don't think I do. I don't take it that seriously. I'm just trying to have fun here. And if I had to have a strategy, it would stress me out too much. And I guess I might play my wild card after the international break, because this international break will be really interesting, because I believe it's 3 weeks long, if I'm not mistaken. And because they have changed the way the Nations League works now. The international window is longer. It's at least 2 weeks, but it might be up to 3 weeks. I'm not sure. But basically, a lot can change because players can get injured. There might be a lot of rotation risk. And that's why I think playing a wild card after the international break might be a good choice. I think this is what I could do. So that's potentially my only plan. But if my players do well and they consistently bring points, I mean, I might even not play my wild card this early. I might save it for later. How about double captain? What's it called? Yeah, triple captain, right? Triple captain chip. Yeah, I will just wait for a game when Haaland plays against one of the newly promoted clubs. Everybody says that Hull looks like the weakest team in the league this season, so I will wait for that game against Hull, and I will triple captain Haaland. I mean, that's an obvious choice. I guess these would be my only strategies, but otherwise I don't really have one. And what do you guys think about my team? Can you guys tell me in the comments if you think my team is good? I think there are some tools online where you can upload your team and it will tell you your score, like how good your team looks. Is it called Fantasy Football Hub or something like that? I don't know, but check those out. I think they're pretty good. Yeah, so how can you join my league? Guys, it's very simple. All you have to do is follow the link or click the link that you find in the description of this episode. Or I can show you here on screen as well. It is sorry, here. This is the code 1ZU6VY. Yeah, so enter this code, and of course you can make your team on www.fantasy.premierleague.com/fantasy, I think. Something like that. You will find it. And definitely make sure you join my mini league. Yeah, and honestly, I would be glad if you told me what you think about my team. Do you think I have a good team? Well, we will see. We will see. But generally, I tend to be worse and worse every year. I think my best performance was in my first season, and I think I did all right in my third season. But since then, it has all gone downhill. Don't ask me why. Yeah, I just hate those moments, guys. You know, those moments when your players blank, right? When you have Bruno Fernandes, you choose him your captain. He gets a yellow card or a red card, and they blank. Those players blank. You get 0 points, 1 point, or 2 points. You have wasted your captain. Those are the worst moments. And then what happens is that you get so angry, you get so upset, you get so wound up that you often knee-jerk. Yeah, you have a knee-jerk reaction, and you sell your best player, or you make a rash decision, and then you later regret that. And the player that you sell suddenly gets a haul, gets a hat trick or something. It happens. It's part of the game, and it annoys the hell out of me. But it is what it is sometimes, right? Welcome back to the Language Corner. As you guys know, I'm an English teacher, and I have to do my job from time to time. And this is the time when I do my job, because I'm going to explain or clarify some vocabulary for you. And this time it's going to be this fantasy football slang. I hope you guys find it useful. I think it could be particularly useful for those of you who choose to follow a YouTube channel or a podcast about Fantasy Premier League. If you learn all of this vocabulary, it will make your life easier, and you will understand what the hell these YouTubers and podcasters are talking about in their content, right? So let's get cracking. Christopher Ajer, or Ayer, the Norwegian player, is a DEFCON beast. I use this term. A beast is like someone who is really good at something. Like he's a beast. He's a great defender, right? But DEFCON, what does DEFCON means? Well, a DEFCON is defensive contributions, basically. Defensive contributions is one of the ways you can get points as a defender. I think even midfielders and strikers can get these points, but this is something that mostly defenders gets points for. So if you're a DEFCON beast, you're someone who is good at getting points for defensive contributions. So if you hear the word DEFCON, that's what it stands for, defensive contributions. I've doubled up on Manchester United. To double up on someone, you often use it with a team. It means you select 2 players from that team. In the same way, you could say you triple up on a team. I've actually tripled up on Arsenal. I chose 3 Arsenal players for my starting 11, and I've doubled up on Manchester United. Look at their first 3 fixtures. Hull, Ipswich, Everton. So I was talking about Manchester United and the fact that they have easy fixtures to start with. And what's a fixture, by the way? A fixture is a scheduled match that a team is going to play. So scheduled match means that this is in the Premier League timetable or schedule, and it's coming up, right? So it's what we call a fixture. It's just another way to refer to a match, basically. I'm banking on Arsenal. So to bank on someone or something, or in this case on a team, means you are relying strongly and you are expecting something to happen, right? So I'm expecting Arsenal to perform really well, especially because they start against a newly promoted team. So I think they could earn a lot of points in the first round. That's why I'm banking on Arsenal. To bank on someone means to rely on or strongly expect something to happen. I think Tsolis, an Arsenal player from Greece, will be a differential. So a differential in fantasy football is a player that is selected by relatively few managers who could give you an advantage if they perform well. Those players, those differentials could give you an advantage if they perform well. And what happens is that because you are one of the few people who have this player, the others will not get the point. You will. But if you have someone like Haaland that is selected by 70%, yes, it's great if you get the points from Haaland, but 70% of all managers playing the game, yeah, managers meaning the players who play the game, 70% of managers also have Haaland, so they will also get points from Haaland. So Haaland is not a differential. Differential is someone who is under the radar a little bit, so to speak, right? Bruno Fernandes is my big hitter. He's essential. So a big hitter is another piece of slang that is used here in fantasy football. It's basically a high-profile, high-value player who is expected to score a lot of fantasy points. In the past, this used to be Mohamed Salah. He used to be the biggest big hitter of fantasy football. He used to be the king of fantasy football, to be honest. Especially of the first rounds. He always scored at least 2 goals, at least a brace. I need to have some premium players. Premium players like Bruno Fernandes and Haaland in my team, I said. Premium players are basically expensive or elite players who are expected to consistently produce lots of fantasy points. So big hitters and premium players, I think those expressions are quite similar. I have Haaland and João Pedro, who seems to be a template pick. If someone is a template pick, it means that that player has been picked by a large number of fantasy managers, right? A lot of people own him. So I said that my strikers, I have 3 strikers that are essentially a template pick. So many people have the same 3 strikers up front, just like me. That's why we call it a template pick. You can also refer to a template squad. Yeah, this is something that a lot of the experts say would be a good choice, how to pick basically your team. Ndiaye, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. Ndiaye is on penalties, I said. So if your player is on penalties, this is great because it's basically a player that is chosen from that team, or he is designated to take penalty kicks for their team, right? So often it's clear that you have a player like at Manchester United, everyone knows that Bruno Fernandes is the penalty taker. Everyone knows that Bruno is on penalties. This knowledge helps you in fantasy football because you really want to have as many players in your team who are on penalties, because penalties are often easy points. The problem is Bruno has been missing a lot of penalties in preseason, so hopefully he does not miss a penalty in his first game, and I get some points from him scoring from a penalty. I think De Kuyper is a hidden gem. So a hidden gem is a player who is relatively unknown or overlooked, but has the potential to perform very well, right? So a hidden gem is very similar to a differential, basically, you could say. I hope this player will help me get some big hauls. A haul, H-A-U-L-S, by the way. A haul is a large number of points, of fantasy points scored by a player in a game week. Yeah? So a big haul is like a lot of points when a player scores like 10 points or 15 points or something like that. That's a real haul. And those are the best moments in fantasy, but also the most frustrating moments. If you don't have a player like that, you're missing out. Okay, players can get injured. There might be a lot of rotation risk. I was speaking about the international break, remember? So a rotation risk is the possibility that a player will be rested, benched, or substituted because the manager rotates the squad, right? So this happens to teams who often play a lot of games in Europe. So they have a game in the Champions League or in Conference League, Europa League, and then they have another game at the weekend. So often the managers rotate the players. So you have to also take this into consideration when picking your team, when buying players. Some players are essential for that manager. They will always play. Like Bruno Fernandes plays every single game. Doesn't matter how many games a week he plays, he's always there in the team. But then you have some other teams where, I don't know, Arsenal might play Bruno Guimaraes, right, in one game, and then Declan Rice in another game. I don't know. There is a lot of rotation risk, we say. I might play my wild card later. So wild card is one of the chips that you have in this competition, in this game, in this competition, and it's, I guess, the most powerful one. It's a special chip that allows you to make unlimited transfers without uh, without basically using up your. You always have one free transfer every week, and then also they accumulate. You can have up to 5 transfers, but also if you want to make more transfers, and sometimes you have to. It's -4 points. You have to take a hit, which is another good phrase to learn. Actually, to take a hit means you have to sacrifice -4 points. But you get a player that you really need or want, or you basically get rid of player that you need to get rid of. Somebody, I don't know, gets a red card and is suspended for 10 games. You immediately have to sell that player. And if you have used up your free transfer, well, you might have to take a hit, right? I just hate those moments when your players blank. So if your players blank in fantasy football, this is used for the situation when your player scores only a few points or no points. Like it's usually like 0, 1, 2 points. That's called blanking in fantasy football. So that's, of course, something you don't want to see, but it's very common. It will happen to you for sure. It has happened to me many times. Right, what happens is that you get so angry that you often knee-jerk. I think this is perhaps the most interesting piece of vocabulary here. To knee-jerk means that you make a quick emotional decision without properly thinking it through, especially transferring in or out a player after one bad or good performance. And some people even do it. Like imagine a player gets red card and you immediately knee-jerk. Bam, you just sell that player. You just go to the website and you make the decision. You should wait because some other things could happen in the game. Other players might get red cards or something else. So don't knee-jerk, right? Wait, be patient. Don't have this knee-jerk reaction. It doesn't pay off. But it's part of this game. It's part of the charm, and I've done it myself because this brings emotions. This game it can be fun, but sometimes really frustrating. By the way, as I said, you guys can join. The link is in the description. I keep reminding you because I want to see as many people there as possible. It's more fun. It's more fun to beat all of you, or maybe to lose against all of you. It could be fun for you to beat me. Yeah, that's what this game is all about. And there's also a link to the Czech Fantasy Football League in case you play it. But I assume not many listeners are Czech. If you're Czech, let me know. I'm curious. I want to know. Let me know in the comments. Are you Czech? Do you play fantasy football as well? The Czech Fantasy Football? Right, guys. I guess that's it for the language corner. But now I have also promised to speak to you about one other thing. I said that I've got an idea. Guys, as you know, I'm an English teacher and I've been trying to teach English through football. I actually do have several students. I believe it's about 5 students with whom I speak about football only. Can you imagine? I literally teach people from the football world. I teach one football manager from the Czech league, from the Czech First League. I teach 2 football journalists, and then some other football fans. So it's a lot of fun. But I know for some people it's unaffordable to take private lessons with me, which is something you can do as well, to take one-to-one lessons. These lessons are a little bit more expensive, as you can imagine, but they are very focused on the student, right? I can help the student the most. But if you think this is too expensive for you or unaffordable, well, maybe what I'm going to present to you now might sound like a good idea. Basically, it's the football pub. Yeah, I want to call it the football pub. And it's basically the last thing I will talk to you about here today. So as you guys know, the Footglish podcast, that's this podcast, in case you've forgotten, can help you develop your listening skills and I think also expand your vocabulary. I believe those are my 2 biggest sort of selling points. So this is the focus of this podcast: developing your listening skills and expanding your vocabulary, right? If you thought I'm just recording this just for fun, well, of course, I'm having fun, but there is a method to the madness. Yeah, there is a method. There's an approach behind all this, because I'm a teacher, you see. I've studied for this, and I know that being exposed to a lot of English, and I also try to have guests on the podcast with various accents, which really helps as well. Being exposed to a lot of English can help you basically get more, ultimately develop your listening skills, and this will lead to, it also ties into other skills, and hopefully it will lead to improving your English in general. And as I said, I'm also often explaining vocabulary here, so that's very useful. Hopefully you're making notes as well, or you end up using this vocabulary in your daily life. That would be ideal. But I would like to help you guys, the Footglish podcast listeners, with spoken English too, because I know you probably don't have much speaking practice. Yeah, I know this because I've spoken to many people over the years. I've taught many students, and I know they don't speak English enough. Everybody listens a lot. Maybe they read books and articles. People do that a lot. But if you compare the amount of time they actually spend on speaking, which is producing the language, is probably the most important skill, I would say. I mean, after listening, maybe, because you first you listen. Even as a child, when you're learning English, first you listen to your parents, but then at some point you have to start talking. But if you don't talk, you will not improve, guys. So that's where I come in with this idea, I suppose. And with this football pub, wouldn't it be nice to make some international friends and start speaking about football regularly, right? That's what this English pub, I said English pub, I meant football pub in English, should be about. It's some kind of group, probably on Discord, because I've got a lot of experience running Discord groups. I've done that thing before. I even have another Discord group for English learners. So this one would be more about football. So it would be for you guys, for the Footglish podcast listeners. And I want to basically do this. I would like to create this sort of meeting every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central European time. So 6 p.m. Central European time every Sunday. We would talk about football for about 30 minutes. If this is successful, I don't mind talking longer or more often, but for now, I think we would keep it simple, 30 minutes every Sunday, 6 p.m. And we would talk about the games we have seen. If you still play football, you could talk about the game you've played. We could talk about your favorite team, right? So, for example, I got this message from Ivo, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't know where this guy is from. If you're listening, please let me know, because you've become the first subscriber of my Hero page, because you've sent me a private message too, and I'm not sure if you're Czech, because Ivo is a Czech name, but I also spoke to my German friend Martin, and he said Ivo is not a German friend, but you do support Dortmund. So you could talk about Dortmund's teams, about Bundesliga. I would talk about the Czech League, the Premier League, because those two leagues are the leagues that I talk about the most. And we would compare the results. We would talk about the biggest moments, the highlights, some controversies, VAR decisions. We could even play some like short clips with beautiful goals. Each of us could prepare something like that. And it would be very lighthearted. You generally don't have to prepare for it. There's no homework or anything. It would be a lot of fun. And you would basically be learning without even realizing it. Now, the most important thing, you would be speaking, right? Speaking. So everybody would get a chance to speak. And since we would be starting this, there wouldn't be so many people, so you would have opportunities to talk. And if this place expanded, if there were more and more people, we would divide into different groups based on our English levels as well. I mean, I'm really happy to turn this into something bigger, but we have to start somewhere, right? So yeah, I think we will see how it goes. But for now, I would like to keep it cheap as well, because I know we're starting and we need to try it first. To be fair, I have already tried this in the past and it worked quite well. It was part of my other group, so I do have experience with this. But of course, it always depends on the people who we have there as well. And I don't know you guys, but that's just something we will deal with when we are there. So for the people who join, for the people who join this, you basically have to go to my Hero page and become a subscriber. And we need some founding members. We call it founding fathers, the first people who will get this started, right? And for you, the price will always be the same, €3, no matter what happens in the future. When I expand, when I turn this into something bigger, maybe there might be more meetings like that, or longer, or divided by levels, I will probably have to make it more expensive, because then I would spend more time, dedicate more time to it. But for the people who join now, the price will always remain the same. You can join even if you don't want to be talking to me or to us in this football pub, whatever. You can still become a subscriber and support the next thing. I mean, sorry, I've just made a Freudian slip. The Next English podcast is my other podcast. I'm talking about the Footglish podcast. You can become a subscriber of the Footglish podcast even if you don't want to be a member. But to become a member of this new event, of this football pub, I need you to become a subscriber and pledge €3 every month. Yeah, that's the deal. And yeah, I also received a message today from Luis from Spain, I believe, who is interested in the idea. So we have 2 people who would like to join already. So we are not far from starting this. I think 1 or 2 more people and we will go. So Luis, thank you very much again for your interest and your kind message. You guys, if you want to message me like that, like Luis did, yeah, you can find my Instagram. It's either Teachers Danek, or I've created a new Instagram which is dedicated to the Footglish podcast. It's called Love Football, Learn English, right? Just like you can hear in the jingle. So you can ask me more questions if you don't know. But basically, yeah, guys, I know some of you are like a little bit disappointed that this is not for free. But to be honest, that would not be fair to me, I guess, because I spend a lot of time on this. It takes a long time to prepare these episodes, to record them, to edit the videos, to edit the podcast, to promote it on social media. You have no idea how much time this takes. So it would not be fair, because you see, it's like value. I'm offering you some value. So this membership cannot be for free. But I think it's a fair price. It's relatively cheap, I think. I mean, it's not even a price of, I guess it's price of 1 beer, you could say, in my country. Probably, yeah, that's how much 1 beer costs these days, €3. So, yeah. Okay, well, you guys also know that I'm a qualified English teacher, so I had to spend a lot of years. So I studied at university, of course. I've got a master's degree in English teaching. Also, I've got the CELTA and Delta certificates. So those are other English courses run by Cambridge that I took. And all this cost me money, and it was a lot of effort and time. I put a lot of time into becoming the person I'm now. I know my English isn't perfect yet, but as a non-native speaker, I think I've reached a high enough level to be good at English, and also a confident English teacher. So ultimately, it's all about how much I can help you, right? I want to help you guys get better at English. That's what all of this is about. That's my mission as an English teacher. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing this, because the money in this business or in this job is not really that much. Believe me, I would be better off being a plumber, or I don't know, a builder. They make way more money than me. But I think I like to do this because I can work with people, I can speak English, and the feeling when you're helping someone else is just priceless. It's amazing when they come back to you and tell you that you've really helped them with their English. It's just an amazing feeling. It's nice to help someone else. So yeah, I'm just explaining to you that I just can't justify creating something like this for free, right? There has to be some kind of monetization or some kind of what's it called? End game. You could call it an end game. Yeah, so you guys could become the founding fathers. I keep saying founding fathers, but mothers, if you are women, of course, women can join too. I expect men like football a lot. I mean, some women love watching football and playing it as well. Of course, I don't mind. I'm definitely not against women. Quite the opposite. It would be wonderful to have some women there. It would be more interesting. That's for sure. Yeah. So, question: will I be correcting your English there, or will we just speak about football in this football pub? Well, I think we can decide later. I'm open to both options, to be honest with you, because there are pros and cons for both, to be fair. Because if I correct everything, then I might not help you with your confidence, right? It would put you down. But on the other hand, if I never correct you, then maybe you are missing an opportunity. So we can talk about this. If you want to be corrected, I can help you with some error corrections as well there, help you with grammar and vocabulary and stuff like that. I can do all of that. We just need to discuss it, okay? So, guys, to sum up, I want to create an online pub, a place for English learners who love football and want to practice their English and develop their speaking skills. And I want to help you basically get more fluent and confident. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, is by talking about our shared passion. I think if you just study English from a course book, it can be super boring because you're really not into it. You're not motivated enough. The topics are boring. Like one topic is about family, then the next one is about environment, then there is a topic about traveling to London. It's boring, right? The best topic is the one that you guys love. And since you are listening to this podcast, I assume you guys love football. So that's the whole sort of that's the whole idea behind it. That's all it is, really. I think it's very simple. But I don't think many teachers do this. I don't know. Have you met any teachers who do what I do? It's quite niche as well, right? It's something that I have turned into, this sort of specialist teacher a little bit, yeah? But I can still teach generic English as well, and I still do. But this would be my dream, to only teach football English. Oh my God, that would be amazing. But when I say football English, it's not just teaching football vocabulary. I also teach general English. If you're learning English, at every level you need help with pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, everything, right? It's not just about I can help you with your grammar, with pronunciation, by talking to you about football. It's possible, believe me. I've done it many times. Right. So, just if you think this is a good idea, head over to my Hero page. The link is in the description, or just go to hero I think, is it .cz? Oh my goodness, I need to check quickly. Hero.c. Oh no, just give me a second. Hero.co. It's hero.co, and type in the Footglish podcast and you will find me there. And yeah, just subscribe. You can end your subscription at any time as well. Yeah, you can just subscribe for 1-2 months, see how it goes, and then leave. Hopefully you will not, and I will do everything I can to make you stay, because I will try to make it worth your while. Okay. So like I said, once there are enough people, then we can get this project started right away. And yeah, once again, feel free to ask me more questions. You can email me at teachersdanek@gmail.com, or just send me a message at my Instagram page. Or on my Instagram page, I think it is, right? On my page, yeah. So, yeah, and back to fantasy. Don't forget to join my fantasy league and the Footglish podcast. It's fun. Let's compete against each other. Yeah, I think that's all, folks. I think I've run out of steam a little bit. It's been a long episode. I've prepared this for a long time, and I'm glad it's now done. Right? So, did you guys enjoy this episode? If you did, give this episode a like. A lot of calls to action today, right? A lot of COTs. Well, pick anything from this. Yeah, I'm not pushing you. I don't want to do that because pushing never works anyway. Guys, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. Thank you. I'm done for today. Thank you so much for listening, and let's go and let's enjoy the Premier League as well. I've got a lot of interesting interviews coming up soon, so I think you guys will have fun. Hopefully, I will also have some returning guests on the podcast and some new guests too. So take care, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.